For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to throw away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to throw away. A time to tear, and a time to sow. A time to keep silent, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time for war, and a time for peace. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up the other. But woe to one who is alone and falls and does not have another to help. Again, if two lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though one might prevail against another, two will withstand one. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. New gospel reading comes from the book of Matthew. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, "Come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly, I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these, who are members of my family, you did it to me." The word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Please stand as you are able.
Let's help somebody today.
Good morning.
I think Don and I must have gotten the same memo of wearing blue today. So I'm part of the worship committee that works with Amanda to throw ideas around. And when we were talking about the day that she was going to be out, she says, "Well, I'm going to get a couple people to talk." And there goes the helium hand. It's a disease I suffer from all the time. So I also volunteered to give a little testimony. So in Ecclesiastes, they say there's a right time for everything, and everything on earth has its special season. For me, that hit home just because of the past year of my life. So from the time I was a young child, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. There was never a question that I knew I wanted to teach young children. College came and went, and of course I became a teacher. And for 21 years, I was a teacher. So I taught 8 years in Anne Arundel County, first and second grade, stayed home with my boys for 5 years, and then the nursery school here said, hey, Stephanie, you have a teaching degree, you should teach preschool. No, I was not teaching preschool. Well, the funny thing is that after 13 years, this was the final year I said to the parents, and after 13 years, I'm still here. Well, next year I will not be saying that because I am officially retired. So as I prepared, it all kind of came to me at once. As I prepared for this past school year, something did not feel right to me. I love the children, I love the planning, I love the preparing, loved it all, but I did not feel the same way I felt at the beginning of a typical school year. I didn't feel that excitement anymore. So in October, it finally hit me that it was time to pass the torch. My season needed to change. It was time for something different. So after much prayer and contemplation, I made the decision to end my teaching career at the end of the year and to retire. Well, of course, when I made that announcement, I was met with many opinions and many questions. You are too young to retire. I can't imagine you not teaching. You are going to be bored. They don't know me well. And then the biggest question was, what are you going to do now? I didn't know I had to have something to do now. I thought I was just retiring. So I started thinking, what am I going to do now? Good question. No answer. And I was fine with that. But so many people were so shocked that I had no plan. I did know one thing. After all these years, the biggest thing I wanted was not to be in charge of anything. And anyone else who's a teacher, you know, you are in charge every single day. And then you feel like when you're out, you're in charge of everything, even though you're not. It's just the teacher mentality. So the holidays came and went, and I continued to be asked the same question. What are your plans next year? So I changed my answer. My answer became, whatever comes up and feels right. I figured maybe that would tell people wouldn't tell me I was going to be bored anymore. Well, that was about the time that I heard some really sad news. One of my preschool parents, who's become my friend, shared with me that she was fighting her second battle with breast cancer, and she's only in her early 30s. The cancer has metastasized, and it's basically everywhere. My first reaction was what most people say, what can I do to help? As a society, I feel we all offer our help to those around us, knowing many people will not reach out. They have family or others that they regularly rely on. And I know I'm as guilty as others in asking this question, assuming no one's actually going to ask you to help with anything. This time, I felt really drawn to help. So instead of being a leader of something, I wanted to be there. I finally figured out, what am I going to do now? I just want to be there for people and to help. Instead of being the leader of something, I want to help others with their needs. Knowing Stephanie, that's her name, was not going to reach out for help, I approached her mother. We chatted about her treatment plan and what was needed most, and I shared my willingness to help with her. Fast forward to present day. She's reached out to me several times. It's been as simple as I've gone and watched her girls while she goes to an appointment. It's been as simple as I was in the backyard covered in dirt and bug spray. She called me. She was having a really horrible day. Could I come over? And I was able to go over and help with the girls and sit and have conversation with her. I've had the opportunity to really spend time doing things to make her life easier, and I'm really enjoying it. I've always believed things happen for a reason, and this year's proven it to me. I'm looking forward to finding more volunteer opportunities as this new season in life begins. So as Don stated, just finding a way to help other people, just the simple things. The last time I was at Stephanie's house, she texted me later and said it was so nice to just sit and talk about something different and to have conversation unrelated to her illness. So that really meant a lot. While I was preparing for this, whenever I'm preparing to do a children's message or something, I always go to Ministry for Children. A lot of times they take the lessons and break them down and really even give us adults a great understanding. And I found this on the webpage, Ministry to Children. Seasons change. Bad times and good times will come and go. You will change. Your friends and family members will change. Your home, school, or church may even change. God will never change. He will always be there to help you through. And then this really hit me as my final statement. I get a positive text message every morning from the radio station 95.1 Shine. And the other day I got one that says, there's a 3-word prayer God loves. Change me, Lord. And I leave you with this question. In what areas is God calling you to change? And I think we are now going to do the last 2 verses of Help Somebody.